Good morning, South Sudan. Welcome to African Morning Breakfast Show, coming to you live right here from our studio, South Sudan capital, Juba. My name is Majur Cholkor, and it's a brand new day in today's edition of African Morning Breakfast Show as we continue to bring to you and discuss social matters that concern your life and the life of every African who is living in South Sudan and South Sudanese in South Sudan. In our today edition of African Morning Breakfast Show, we will digest more on women's and girls' rights in the Republic of South Sudan and also reflecting on the just concluded international conference on women in the Republic of South Sudan earlier last week on the 15th of February 2023. And in this edition of African Morning Breakfast Show, I'm joined by great personalities. These are none other than Miss Adeng Malwal. She is one of the women rights advocate in the Republic of South Sudan, and not forgetting Monica Nyingut, women's and girl rights activist in South Sudan. Ladies, allow me to say it, I'm profoundly honored and exceedingly humbled to have you in African Morning Breakfast Show. You're most welcome.
Thank you so much.
Monica, welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for making it to African Morning Breakfast Show. And before we have our normal discussion of discussing women rights and girl rights and also reflecting to the conference, you greet them, your friend, and I know you have your friend and relative. So let me start with Adeng. You can have a word of shout out to your fellow women and workmates.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for hosting me. I would like to shout out my mom, my sweet mom at home, hardly in the hospital. She's a critical and emergency care physician. And also to my sister Ayen, hi, and all the women in South Sudan, good morning. Have hope and be happy and always smile.
Thank you so much. Always smile. Monica?
Yeah. Thank you for hosting me. I would like to greet my friend at the office, not forgetting my role models, Nyayat. I think if you're watching me live.
Let's have a break. We'll be right back shortly. Welcome back, dear viewer. Thank you so much for following African Morning Breakfast Show right here on SABC. And as I just received my guest right here in the studio, remember earlier last week, the 15th of February 2023, the International Conference on Women ended and over 430 women attended the conference, which was also from the 10 states of the Republic of South Sudan and 3 administrative areas, not forgetting 15 African countries. Women also attended, and in this edition we are going to reflect back also on the International Women Conference that ended, and it ended with high expectation from the women, whereby there were numerous resolutions reached, and women expressed their feeling and testimonies, sharing their testimonies of how they become leaders in Africa, in South Sudan. And right here we're going to talk about the rights of women in leadership and in the society, and also rights of girls. And right here, again, to remind you, I'm having Miss Adeng and Monica Nyingut. Welcome back.
Thank you.
I want to start with Adeng by asking you how you can describe human right.
Human right is basically a right for any human, be it a man or a woman. also a boy or a girl or people who live with disability, and the minorities, let me say. So it's very important for a human being to have their rights when it comes to basic services. Also, when it comes to their rights as declared as a part of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which gives us, like, is it 36 or 35, the human rights, right to life, right to family, right to, to education, and so many, that is in the Human Rights Declaration. So this one has to be adhered to by the country and also by individuals. So human right is a description on how, as a human being, you should have your services provided, and also how, as a human being, you should respect other people's need as well and the right as well.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And Nyingut Monica, welcome to Morning Breakfast Show again.
Thank you.
And I want you to describe how you feel when you discover that from your childhood that you are a girl, you become a woman, you're a lady in the society. How do you feel about it?
Actually, let me start from childhood. I discover, yeah, we have different family lifestyle. Let me give example for myself. In my family, we are all girls, 5 girls. And during those days, my father doesn't know the importance of schools. And my elder sister, 4 of them, they were taken back from school to duty of house, because, those days it was not the primary, it's called intermediate. So in people there outside, actually, they don't believe, so they confused my dad, and my dad decided, you should get married. A lady who is educated, she can be a Christian. Yeah, sorry to say that. Actually, all my sisters got married because of that. But in those days, my father found out the importance of school. So I was lucky person, I'm my example. So he took me to school. So let me say in my Boomba label, I'm the first graduate of girl that study and finish school without getting married or any difficulty, because of a example of others ladies. Because my Boomba, they were behind education, they don't see important of education. So that's why I come up and I say that I need to empower young girls in my Boomba. Not Boomba, in Africa, inside South Sudan, especially in some state in South Sudan, because they see a girl as a dowry. Like, they don't see that you can be a leader. They see you that to be sell, to marriage, and give resource. They see us as a resource, but we are not a resource.
So Monica, do you feel good being a woman?
Yeah, I'm great being a woman.
You're
I'm
happy?
so happy, yeah.
Okay, you don't regret?
Yeah, I don't regret.
But, but you cannot regret it. It's God who brought you as a woman.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for all what you have mentioned. And I think, how can you describe, you have already described the rights of human rights, and you have mentioned some of the rights. Do you think all these rights are being practiced in South Sudan? And if yes, how?
Okay, I can say I didn't want you to ask me that question, but like that one you open, something that you cannot close. So we have an issue in South Sudan when it comes to women's rights. When we talk about women's rights, in South Sudan, it starts from the culture and how they look at the woman. As my sister said here, she said that women are looked at as a dowry, as a resource. And it's true. I am a person who is actually campaigning against high demand of dowry. Because that high demand of dowry is one of the issues that is causing also what? The conflict in South Sudan. And also is an issue when it comes to the violation of women's rights. Okay? For example, if I want to marry somebody from different tribe that don't have cattle, okay, it becomes an issue that he has to raise that cattle, and sometimes it might lead to what? The cattle raiding, to be honest. Or even it leads to armed robbery and so many issues associated to it. So I will be like, I have to give up on my love, even my feeling towards that person, to to go and get married to somebody who will be able to pay the dowry. That's a violation of women's right. Let me say human's right. Women's right is a human right, to be honest. Let me remind cultures. Okay, we have harmful cultures. One of them is the high demand of dowry. Some people can pay, some people cannot pay, some people cannot even be happy in their marriages. And when you're not happy in your marriage and you want to get divorced, you cannot pay back that money because you don't that dowry because you don't have that resource to pay back the dowry. So the harmful practices, we have the ghost marriages. For God's sake. Who is married? You are married to somebody who is dead. Okay? I'm not against the culture, but also there's some cultures that I'm always against it. Who is that person you are getting married to? He's dead. And you are giving to somebody else, and your children to be named after the dead person. Is that not a harmful practice, my brother? Another one, let me even talk about it. The inheritance of wives. Why am I inherited? I'm not a property. Okay? So these things also is a violation of women's right. I don't want to say South Sudan is the only one. I happened to attend a conference on conflict-related sexual violence in London. And when we came together, I have also realized that there is, what is it called, honor killing in Iraq. Okay? The honor killing is to kill a woman for the sake of culture or something like that. In case you get pregnant, in case there's a lot of issues to do with that. And I was like amazed. Okay, so South Sudan is not the only one has issues.
Okay.
So it's a
we'll come back to you, Adam. Thank you so much for.
So it's a long way to go.
Thank you so much. And Monica, let's find out from you. You are one of the inspiring women leader, a young lady in the Republic of South Sudan that looking forward to change the life of girls in South Sudan and in Africa. So what are these rights of girls that you want to advocate for? And do you think that girl rights can be protected?
Yes. Actually, the girl right, number one is to support their creativity. We have mindset, but no support. You might be creative, but no one is supporting you. They see you like you cannot manage. You cannot manage. Yeah, even in studying, okay, in you are lady to be chairperson, unless you play your role up and down and lobby for it. So it's our right, and let support that girls have right in South Sudan. They can be leaders, they can be entrepreneurs, they can be business. Yeah.
Have you met some people before in the government of South Sudan or in other private sectors that you reached out to them and say, these are the rights of girls in South Sudan. You have not given this right to the girls, so we need this right to be given to the girls. And what were the response?
Actually, I met, let me say, I met in private sector, I met some women, and they're trying, they're trying to inspire girls. But sometimes, yeah, when you're there, they might say, we support you, but if you come to reality, they will doubt you, And that's why you will lose hope most of the time, especially in government. We are trying so hard and nothing. And we thank God, yeah, there are some women who are there, they have their right in the position. Yeah, for example, Mama Nyadeng now is the first female and is supporting women empowerment and girls.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you try to talk to these people and the promise, at the end of the day, they don't fulfill their promises, what do you think come to their mind that make them not to fulfill their promises?
What I think to come in my mind, sometimes I will feel like...
No, what come to the mind of these people that promise, like for example, you go to them, you tell them, we need women, ladies to be supported, girls to be supported in such way, these are the right. At the end of the day, they promise you, for example, others promise to fund your activities, at the end of the day, they don't do that. What come to their mind? What make them not to support women, girls?
Actually, I don't understand, but sometimes what they come in their mind, they need their interest to be fulfilled first. Yeah, and that is what is affecting us. in South Sudan.
Are these women or girls that need the
Both
interest?
sides.
Both sides.
Both sides.
Okay.
Though you are a girl or you are a woman, it's the same condition.
So who are these people? I'm sorry to digest a lot. Who are these people who want the interest, especially on the men's side? What interest do they want?
Oh, I cannot say, but you understand the interest, yeah? You must fulfill the interest. If you're a smart person, you already know. Yeah, they will tell you, then you understand. If they did not find your program, you know that you did not implement. Yeah, I cannot
Okay,
say.
thank you so much.
Yeah.
And I think let's talk about right of women to leadership. I remember you had attended the international conference on women, which was concluded earlier last week, and women were talking about leadership, 35 affirmative action. We're not given our right. We need our right to be leaders. Why is women leadership very important?
Women leadership is very, very important because, to be honest, we are one of the majority of the country. We are 54% of South Sudan, right? And then 70, followed by, actually the first thing is 70% of youth, which is combining the girls and male.
Yeah.
And then we have the 54%, which is mostly women. And when you look at that, we are supposed to be contributors to the GDP of the country, okay? But when we are not given the right positions or even leadership, some decisions are not made in favor of women, okay? Like we have, okay, let's actually give, let me praise the government for allowing women to, to take up powerful positions like the Ministry of Defense, Ministry of Education. I'm looking forward to Ministry of Justice, by the way. And we want back our Ministry of International Foreign Affairs. So those powerful
You also
positions.
forgot the Ministry of Health. It's headed by...
Ministry of Health is head by Honorable Yolanda Awel, who is also a woman of a struggle. You know, we have a struggle together. We have been together in the civil society circle. So those women are very powerful. So when we talk about leadership, leadership is a very good place where you can make the policy to be implemented, something that will favor women. We have some policies in the parliament or even in the Ministry of Justice, like anti-GBV policy, okay, bill. And we have the affirmative action of 35%, which we are struggling to fill some position of 35%. At least the parliament has given the percentage of 31% or something, mostly women, and at least you can see that some policies are coming up and some decisions are made up that can favor women. And the leadership is also important in order for us to be reaching also the grassroots, you know. Instead of us focusing only at the urban level, we also have to make sure with our leadership positions we reach out the grassroots. So when we attended the international conference on women transformational leadership, it was, to be honest, a Valentine gift for us. I have enjoyed listening to other women from African countries who are sharing their leadership experience, because we have some former vice presidents and former speakers, deputy speakers, and so on. And it's good to learn from that conference, because it actually gave us a motivation to build our skills. Personally, it gave me the motivation to build my skill, because leadership is not given. Leadership is fought for, not armed, but unarmed.
Thank you so
no
much.
Violence.
Thank you so much. Monica, as we reflect back to the women conference, how do you describe your fellow women in South Sudan compared to the progress of women compared to that of men and women in Africa? How can you describe that? How can you compare?
Okay, actually it was really good that I was recognized from 13 to 16. Yeah, we experienced a lot of care from other women in Africa, and we felt interest, like we need to be powerful. Yeah, we have learned a lot from them. Yeah.
So out of the international women conference, there were resolutions, and out of the resolution, what have you picked from the resolution? And what make you to take that word?
Actually, there's a resolution saying that let promote networking of women in state and high levels. It was really very good because outside there, we are here in Juba, we thought that we have empowered ourselves. But in rural area, women are suffering and girls, they don't know the importance of human rights or importance of women empowerment. So networking, it will help us. We can go and train them in state levels. Yeah.
Okay. So did you network that very time?
Yes.
You met different women?
Yeah, I met different women. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How were you feeling?
I was feeling happy, and I was feeling that hope one day I will be like them. We are the next generation of tomorrow. Yeah.
I remember in the closing speech of Her Excellency the Vice President Rebecca, she just stated that 60% of the women failure in the government or in other private sector is upon you women, saying that you are backbiting yourself. You don't see, when you see your fellow women is progressing well, you go and say this woman is not good, why not me, and all this. We'll come and find out whether exactly you women in all your leadership capacities from your various walk of life, whether you are against each other progress or not. Welcome back, dear viewer. Thank you so much for following African Morning Breakfast Show. We are coming to you from our studio right here in South Sudan capital, Juba. And we are talking about women's rights and girl rights in the Republic of South Sudan compared to that of other African countries, and also reflecting back to the International Conference on Women that was just concluded earlier last week, 15th of February, here in Juba. And right here, let me welcome back my guests, Monica and Adeng. You're welcome back.
Thank you.
As we just went for break, I did mention that from quoting Her Excellency the First Vice President Rebecca Nyandeng de Mabiu, saying 60% of the women failure belong to you, that you keep backbiting yourself as women, and I don't know whether it is true or not. She was a woman. She's a woman, and she's the one who said so. I don't know whether you will agree with her or do you disagree with her. So, Monica, do you agree with her?
Yeah, I agree with her because we women, we are too much on that. We don't support ourselves unless if you're a strong person, you force yourself. Then if you win, that's where women will support you. But from beginning to start the process is not easy. They can fight your back until you might say that I will not manage. But we need to stop this, and we'll be having training that to stop this feeling for others, and let do as women.
So what do you think that, what gives women that spirit of like they want to demote each other?
Actually, I see is that spirit of jealous. Yeah, it's jealous. We are so jealous for ourselves. We don't support ourselves as women. Yeah, you don't see a woman that, oh, if it's a bad person is, we are the same level. How come she went far? Which reason?
Monica,
so, yeah.
Are you jealous?
No, I'm not a jealous person.
Well, thank you so much. Let me come to Adeng, and let's look to the statement of Her Excellency the Vice President. So, do you agree or disagree?
What she has said actually is true. We like backbiting each other. And these things comes out of the competition. And usually, a person who backbites and a person who's jealous about the other person does not have confidence of herself. Or let me say even himself. You guys have competition too. It's not only women. But our competition is soft, you know. We backbite each other. The only thing we have is our mouth. But you guys can actually go beyond, you know, even your mouth and use some hand and all these things, you know. It's soft killing and slow killing. Sorry to say that. But for us, I always say that whoever has a competition, it should be a positive competition. It should not be backbiting to the point of downgrading your sister, you know. So this thing is there because of the level of positions that we have now in power. We have a specific positions that is given, you know. And for us in South Sudan, with our inflation, the economy is bad. And then also you have those positions that is so limited to women, okay? You try your best to keep that position for you, okay? And then you keep it there and you start maybe downgrading your sister. That's not the solution. Definitely the time will come. The election is coming. We will be campaigning for who is coming and who is not coming, to be honest. So for us, it's very important as a woman to empower each other and put each other up, because our competition is not ourselves. Our competition is more than ourselves. Sometimes it's actually good to compete with yourself. So what Mama Rebecca said, it is actually very important. She has warned the women so that they don't block each other, but it is a kind of, you know, facing each other to do better, because women who are in power now can actually uplift other women, and they can make decisions, by the way, that is very powerful. That's why when I mentioned about this training of the 80 women parliamentarian, this is when I was able to voice out what are the issues of women, what they are facing in the country, and say that, okay, there is this issue that they are facing. In your legislation priorities, please put it as your priority to solve issues of women. And this is how you advocate for the right of women. So whoever has a competition and backbiting and all these things, downgrading, has an issue with herself. And by the way, there's a lot of trauma in this country. People need to heal. That's why it's not good.
Ading, if you agree, all of you agree here, that what Her Excellency stated or said is right, then how will the advocacy for you as women, talking about women empowerment, that you need to be empowered and you need your right, how will you as women of South Sudan achieve that goal?
To achieve that goal is, to be honest, also part of the resolution that came out. It was said that the capacity building of women to be in the leadership position. Actually, the resolution was very strategic, okay? And also a woman to be part of the institutional reforms. That is very, very important. So for us to achieve that, we need more platforms like international conference, okay? In that platform, I've realized that there is actually young girls, they are missing in that platform. Young girls from school. Because it's very important. We are not trying to raise a generation that have the same issues as us. Competition issues, negative competition, let me say. That's the reason why I say us, because every one of us has issues, and every one of us has a positive side. So it is very important to build the capacity of every woman, inclusive, people with disability, young girl, women, women who are in business, women at the grassroots. It's very important to put ourselves in the same level and develop each other.
Thank you.
So the resolution, it says everything. Go through it, and especially institutional reform, which is part of the peace agreement.
Thank you. I know you are a human rights advocate, so you always want us to refer to anything related to law. And thank you so much, dear viewer, for following African Morning Breakfast Show. We are coming to you live right here in our studio from South Sudan capital, Juba. And don't hesitate and don't forget to follow us on our Facebook page, that is SSBC TV. And you can leave your comment and share Morning Breakfast Show and other program right there on our page. You can comment and we'll see your comment, and even my guests here will be able also to see your comment if you are truly following this show on all African continent and in African continent and other parts of South Sudan, right here in South Sudan capital, Juba. Let me come to my guest, Monica. I want to ask you the same question. Like, if you women are jealous of yourself, you don't want each other progress, and you're talking about women empowerment, girl empowerment. How sure are you that you will achieve this goal as women of South Sudan?
Actually, how to achieve our goal as women in South Sudan, as my sister said, that we need to organize ourselves and come in a different institution that you can manage. You know what brings jealous sometimes? You don't know the level you are, or you don't know what you can manage. We have women in business, women who are in politics, women who are doing some other things outside, women in uniform. So we sit down, we do training, and we can empower ourselves that we are the same. We need to promote our country. We need to stop other things that against women's, because every blame sometimes humans will say is women's because we don't agree. But in second time, sometimes we support ourselves as women. Yes.
Do you think that the Women Conference addresses all your challenges as women of South Sudan?
Yes. Yes.
The 3 days was enough?
Yes. 3 days was enough for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you agree to address this?
Yes, 100%. You know why? It gives us a tips of the eyes. Is it tip of the eyes? Like, it was talking about so many things at the same time, but also it gave us the room on how we are going to support the implementation of that conference. So, the 3 days was enough.
Okay, I want to take you to the closing speech of the first Vice President. You remember the first Vice President, Dr. Machar, stated that women of South Sudan were marginalized. Do you remember that statement?
I remember 100%. I love it. I love it.
You said the women of South Sudan were marginalized, and now it is your time to come out from that marginalization. And saying it was conflict and all this. If there is conflict, the women can be marginalized. And if now people are in peace, what can you do as women of South Sudan? So do you agree that you were marginalized and now you are not marginalized anymore?
I am not marginalized, but other women who have not reached to get the services are marginalized. The reason why I'm saying I'm not marginalized because I can speak for my right. I know all the rights. I can take somebody to prison for violating my right. You understand? So some services has to reach to the women at the grassroots, and that shows that if it's not reaching, that means they are marginalized. And if they don't know their right, they are marginalized. What Dr. Riek Machar has said, the first Vice President, His Excellency, he said that women are the majority and marginalized, and low literacy has affected the marginalization to be higher, and the literacy rate has become lower. And if you educate yourself, the marginalization will disappear, and your literacy rate will become higher, and you'll be able to change a lot of things because we are the majority. You get it?
Yeah.
That's why I like his speech, and it is very strong. And also, let me not forget what also Martha Karua said, the former Minister of Justice of Kenya. He's Minister of Justice, right? She said that as they threw a stone on you as you progress, let me also compliment it to what Vice President was saying. As they threw stones on you as a woman, as you're progressing, take that stone and build a castle. All those two speeches, they were so strong, you know, and you can see it's complementing each other, and that's why I'm saying the International Conference on Women and on transformation leadership, the 3 days was enough. They summed it up, and we have learned a lot. If you see my power in few months, you will be amazed.
So you're now very strong woman.
Very powerful.
Very powerful.
Yes.
You wanted even to take men out from their offices.
Yeah. Wait and see.
Thank you so much, Mr. Deng. And let me come to Monica. Monica, as someone who is talking about girl empowerment, and being stated that girl education is very important. And in your earlier statement, you said you are one of the first daughter from your family, from your father, that went to school and graduated. And now talking about high rate of illiteracy and the rate of illiteracy for women in South Sudan. What do you think should be done to empower girls to have an access to education and become better leaders of South Sudan?
Okay. Actually, we need to, our parents outside in South Sudan, to allow their girl to study as the way they want to achieve their dream. That dream, when they done, they will change the country. As they say that educate girl, you educate the nation. Yeah.
You also did mention that there were these perceptions in the community,
Yes.
that if you educate a girl, then at the end, at the long run, she'll get spoiled. Yeah, that's what you just stated earlier. Now, to watch out that negative perception, what do you think people should know? That an educated girl is not a spoiled girl.
Actually, they have find out right now, those days back, not everybody, but there are some family, they have that concept. But now they have seen the examples. The age mate of their daughters, that the one now doing well in government and outside. Actually, some of them, they trouble outside. So it has give them example, and everybody now is supporting their girl, and others who are still does not know the importance of girl child education. We will support and encourage that to take their girl to schools.
Okay.
Yes.
Mr. Deng and Monica,
Yeah.
thank you so much for coming to African Money Breakfast Show. But before I let you go, I know there is a movement that all of you feel like if you meet today the top leadership and talk to them, for example, one of you meet President Salva Kiir, maybe first Vice President Dr. Riek, and other top leaders in the country, there will be that word that you want to tell this your leader, the president of the country, and the other leaders within the government that need for the women of South Sudan. And I know now you have already met them, even if maybe you have not met them before. In this camera, you have met them, and now you are talking to them. What can you tell them?
Okay. Actually, I need to tell them that to empower girls' education in rural area. I've been traveling in many states in South Sudan, and I see most of girls that are not at the school. So please invite the investors to invest in schools, because there are some places in others Boomer there's no school, even others Payam level there's no schools, and you might see in headquarters of the county is only school, and some family people are not the same actually. Some of the family, they afford the children to take them to state or here in national level, and some in county level. So how can we support them? We support them giving them education for their better future.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Deng, yeah, I said if you are to meet His Excellency President Salva Kiir in person, I know you have something to tell him. But maybe the way you can tell him in private, maybe it could not be the same way you can tell him now on camera. But you have met them. What can you tell them?
Yes, Your Excellency, I just imagine that the video has reached him, you know. So what I want to say is that have the right people around you, boost the economy, boost the health services, also boost the security to the people of South Sudan, and all these things will sum up for women to join political parties, to join leadership, and it will help girls to go to school. It will help this money or even agriculture to boost for the country to be, to be booming, as they say, to be booming, and also all these things will support women to be in peace, and all this conflict that is happening and all this conflict related sexual violence that is affecting women will stop. So this is a time now to leave a legacy of power and love to the country, and all these things that I have mentioned, boosting economy and all these things, should be given, the priority should also be given to youth and women, because the majority can actually support bringing the country into stability. So economy, security, health, education, they are the most important pillar. So all these things, if it's boosted, it's the best thing. The country will be.
Thank you so much. And before I let you go, finally, this is my question for African Morning Breakfast Show. So, Monica, do you like SSBC African Morning Breakfast Show? If yes, what do you think will make Africa and South Sudan great? Just in one sentence.
Okay, as me, what to make Africans and South Sudan to be great, we need to partnership of arranging event like football, tourism. You know, football is part of meeting others peoples, like women's conference that we did. We meet a lot. We've been seeing them in TVs, and which we've been saying, how can we meet those women? But because of the conference, we meet them physically. So if we meet, if arrange something that unite people, South Sudan and Africa at large, we can change.
Yes. Do you like SBC African Morning Breakfast Show? If yes, what do you think can make Africa and South Sudan great?
I love African Morning Breakfast Show because it hosted me today. And I'm sure it's going to be a great benefit to other people that you will host. What I would recommend is that you move from offices to offices, move from the studio. It will be great. Go to the African Union and go to other embassies. Let me remind you, in the International Conference of Women's Transformational Leadership, lady from Comoros said South Sudan is an example to them. And that thing has actually made me even feel motivated to try to really work and represent South Sudan properly. So what I would like to say is that this platform is very good, and what will make actually Africa great and South Sudan great is partnership, as you said, and also the free market movement. It will help the country to boost the economy, and I will look forward to more countries to come in South Sudan and have more conferences apart from women's conferences, and also have some youth networking and youth connection, which will actually support. And I would like to see the morning after breakfast show in those events. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Adeng and Monica Nyingood, for having your time and accepting our invitation to come to African Morning Breakfast Show. And dear viewer, thank you so much for following African Morning Breakfast Show right here on SABC. We always discuss social issues, also touching on a bit on political related matters in this show. And in this edition, we have been talking about women's rights and girl rights of the Republic of South Sudan, and reflecting back on the International Conference on Women, which was concluded earlier last week right here in Juba, and have been a nice time hosting Ms. Adeng Handro Malwal Lake, human rights advocate, and Monica Nyingood, women's and girl rights and activist, and the CEO of Hope of Girls in Africa. For me, Majur Cholkor, and my colleague, the technical team right here, we say thank you so much for having your time, and enjoy the rest of the program.